Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another round of the LBL. We're here at Monaco, round 6 already. Oh my goodness, it's gone so quick. We're about to get started. It's an Alpine front row lockout with another pole for his position from Danny. We've got the two Mercedes lined up just behind them. Everybody on the grid is ready. Let's see this start now. It's lights out and away we go. Both of the Alpines getting off to a decent start, going down to turn 1 now. Danny going to maintain P1 with Scott just behind him. Grimes and Drakes both holding their positions. I think everybody's going to be relatively staying the same. We got Ghost just behind. Jason Davies, a very surprise P6 start for that man there. There was a few grid penalties from the qualifying yesterday due to some incidences, but nonetheless, there we go. Now Ghost going to try and make a center move at the inside of Drake's unable to get it done. We're trying to get in the action as quick as possible. It is crazy already. Some mental starts here. Everybody's, side by side. Yellow flag already. We got a Ghost from Jason. Nico in 7th, Jack in 8th, Jake Pig making up 3 positions, Delirious and JD in 10th and 11th respectively. Andy Gatehouse making 6 positions already up into 12th, but I do think has he got a little bit of wing damage there? I'm not quite sure. Being chased down in the tunnel there by the Alpha Tauri of his friend Cam Dog. King Joel in 4th, a substitute Bames John in 15th. Our nation's sweetheart, our league's darling in 16th. Alfie, come on, bud. We need you to pull through. We need you to get some points starting on the mediums. He can do it. He's going to do it. We all believe in him. Come on, Alfie. Bidoof 17th, Buzz in 18th. We've got a fair few substitutes today for us as there is some lagging all over the shop. We have people going into the pits on the first lap, already a bit of damage, bumper cars going on as always. And then we've got Sanders and Young Hayden closing it down, but I think that'll be switched around because of the pit stops. Anyway, let's get back to the main action. We've got the main front four with Ghost, JD, oh sorry, not JD, Jason Davies and Nico all close behind with Jack. Kind of everybody staying similar. I mean, that's the thing with Monaco. You never really get away a crazy amount. Like, especially at the start, some tracks you'll see people get away very quickly. It's more open. You have to be less cautious. You can, chuck the car around the corners as easy as you like with no repercussions, so to speak. So you can kind of like drive at more ease. But around Monaco, it's tough and tight. Through to pack we go now. Still got Danny and Zero Scott, the two Alpines in 1st and 2nd respectively. I did make a prediction earlier on. I said whoever qualified on pole was probably going to take this race win, and to be honest, I'm quite happy putting all my chips on black. We got Grimes trying to overtake Scott. What a great maneuver there. I'm quite upset. I missed that now. Danny set the fastest lap of a 1:13.056. As now the Alpines have been split. It's an Alpine sandwich with an Al Grimes Mercedes filling. Drake's just behind. Kind of everybody else starting to fall off the pack. Yeah, with Ghost just there, and then there we go. Like there's the little bit of the gap starting to form now with Jason. Nico definitely feels like he's the faster of the two drivers with him and Jason, so he's going to want to try and clear Jason as quick as possible if he wants to try and get any more points. Jason using all of his ERS earlier on to try and stay with these boys, but I do think his pace is going to drop off a lot more quicker than what he would have liked. Nico still holding nearly 80% ERS now into the tunnel. Is he going to try and maybe send one down the outside of the Nubal chicane? We're about to see. Or is he going to go the inside? He is. Oh, it's a little bit contact there. Nothing too dangerous, I don't think. I don't think either of them have any damage just yet, but still. Oh, and Jason's clipped the wall, so now he's going to be even slower than what he would have liked after that little getaway. But unfortunately, Nico's now back on him. How unfortunate for the Alfa Romeo. Nico going to send one up the inside of Larascas. Great move there as he has cleared Jason. Jason going to dive into the pits, as is Jake as well. Just behind him, there might have been a little bit more contact we did not see further back down the grid there. Nico in a great position now on the mediums. Going to try and, reclose that gap. As you can see, Ghost just in front of him a few seconds up the road there. He's going to try use as much ERS, pump out these laps now, get them as close as possible to the front runners there. Ghost just in front. It's still very tight with Drake, Scott and Grimes. All this fighting meanwhile is allowing Danny to pull up a bit of a gap. Now 2.1 ahead of Grimes in 2nd. This is some crazy stuff. To any of you who do not know any of the certain rules, because we've had so many safety cars and it really breaks up the play, and because it's Monaco and there's always damage. Like there's a yellow flag in sector 2 as we speak. We have turned off safety car for this race. It will make a return during the season, just not during the very tight circuits like Monaco, because it will just, you're going to be spending. Oh, there's a little bit of a corner cut there from Grimes. I will be watching the time there, as I can see he's gained a few temps there. That could come into play later on, but we'll keep it tame for now. As I was saying, just some of these tracks which are tight and twisty. We don't want to be having an entire race of just pure safety car one after the other. Safety car comes in, safety car's already back out instantly. It really breaks up the play. If anything, then I'm just broadcasting safety car simulator, and that's not what we want. But anyway, back to the action. We have Andy Gatehouse, who has made up 9 positions as he clips a wall there through Sandoval. I don't think there was any heroics. As a matter of fact, I think this is a record. This is a league record. We're on lap 5, and we still have 20 races. One of our races before the race started, Ace Drakes, he did say there was going to be no retirements. And to be honest, I would have bet my house on there being retirements. And if there isn't, then this is just a true shock to the system. Maybe these people are starting to pull their fingers out. Maybe they're starting to drive a bit more sensibly. But who knows? We will see. I'm going to try and, maintain the angle on the back of Drake's here. As he can see Scott and Grimes. I'm not sure if Scott's been monitoring some damage on his car, or if any of them are. I'm really not too sure, because Scott was in front. No, I mean he seems okay. I think he might have just dropped behind Grimes a little bit. I'm not too sure there. But yeah, Danny, kind of maintaining that 2-second gap. Very nice, very tidy. As we're on to lap 6 now of 39. We always run 50% races. It just allows the longer races. Ghost jumping into the pits early there. We don't want 5-lap races, do we? It'd be a bit pointless of a league if it was only 5-lap races. But in terms of what else we do, if you guys do want to come and watch all of it live, we broadcast the qualifying just before the race live on my Twitch channel. Head over to twitch.tv/Lawton Lad. You'll be able to see it all there live in action. We talk about the race, the qualifying. After it all has gone down, we have a little bit of a post-match analysis, I suppose you could say, or post-race analysis. I'm like a B-Tech Sky Sports. I come in and I say my piece. Everybody else says their piece. There's a lot of moaning about penalties and stuff, but nonetheless, it still gets all sorted out in the end, all panned out, nice and tidy. Danny, meanwhile, has gained a 3.5 second lead early on in this race. These soft tyres, hanging on for him, doing very well for him. We have this main front pack here still. Scott, Drakes, and Grimes all nice and tight knit together. But I think, the only reason they are... Oh, Nico set the fastest lap on the mediums of 12.7. This is where you can tell that the mediums are starting to take over a little bit now. As Nico's now closing in on the back of that pack a little bit. He cleared Ghost because he went into the pits earlier on. But, eventually, the mediums are going to start to play a factor in this. As Nico's going even faster. Meanwhile, these guys, apart from Drake's, these boys, they are on the softs. They're going to eventually start to slow down a little bit, which then will allow these boys back here who are losing out time now to subsequently later on make that drive on the softer tyres, so they could potentially even push for the race win. I wouldn't count Drakes or Nico out of this by any stretch of your imagination. These are two very fast boys, and I think they want to be getting a race win. Nico wants to get his first race win out. He wants to be able to show everybody, I am about this league. I am ready to challenge for this league. I am going to challenge for this championship. He's had a few bad starts, maybe a couple podiums here and there, but he's not anywhere near as where he'd want to be. But yeah, it's been quite tame. Always we've got a Zero Scott diving into the pits, one of the main normal pit stops, I'd like to say, on lap 8 already now. Defo, I think, just going to go on the mediums there. Perhaps a 2-stopper. Come back out on some softs a little bit later on. I think we might see some 1-stops with just the hards only, or if you're doing a medium stretch, it's definitely advisable, to go on to the hards as well. We'll see how it plays in effect. We've got Andy Gatehouse in 7th, just behind Delirious there in front. He's gained 11 positions now. This is some amazing points for him. Cam up into 8th as well, gaining some good positions. I think some of the bigger losers right now, although there has been a lot of pit stops. You look at Sanders, he's gone down 8 positions, unfortunately, since the start. I think there was a little bit of bump off the wall there from King Joel. His teammate Noel King, unavailable this week, is on holiday, so he's got a He's got a Jack FC who's up in 5th, doing very well. Flying the Williams flags for Noel King, very highly indeed. He's a very good teammate, very good reserve, good driver as well. I've had some good battles with him in the past in some open lobbies. There's a yellow flag in Sector 2, not quite sure why. I'd just like to reiterate, we have gone 8 laps of the Monaco Grand Prix without a single DNF. You could just tell this is how careful everybody's now beginning to be. Oh no, Zero Scott's got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. I think he's been a bit naughty cutting some corners there. We'll have a look after the race, see if it's something he doesn't feel is fair. Ooh, bumping the wall a little bit there. Has he got any damage? Yellow flag in Sector 3. Is there any damage from Scott? I think he got away scot-free, although he is coming into the pits anyway. What a shame. What a shame. The man who was in second, we've got Ghost now setting the fastest lap of the race. The man who was in second, that's not what he wants. He does not want to be having to make another pit stop. Does he go onto the hards and go to the end? Let's have a look. Yes, he is. He's going to do exactly that now. Scott going to go 30 laps all the way to the end on those hards. Andy now up into 5th. Obviously, there is some people who have pitted, so that is not his actual position. But yeah, still great early performance earlier on from him there. Still just behind Delirious. A bit of a midfield pack opening up there. Still amazed with Jack as well. Came in last minute reserve, up in 3rd right now, doing amazing for himself. We've got Drake's 1.1 behind Danny. He has really started to put the pressure on. As you can see, those mediums are starting to fire up more compared to those softs. Now, Danny is going to be on the mediums, but he wanted to use these tyres this stint for as long as possible, to be able to get away from Drake's. Now, fortunately enough, this obviously is a very hard circuit to overtake, but it does not mean people cannot overtake. I'm going to stay on board with Drake's a little bit as he is closing in. Drake's going faster on his previous fastest lap. He is right behind Danny now. The man who had a 4-second gap to the other front three has now got a 4/10 gap. How's he going to maintain this? This is very common throughout the season. There's often during every single race, there's always a bit of it where Danny and Drake's are side by side racing for the race win or the lead or anything. It's biblical enough for it to always happen, so don't expect it to not happen. Early on, 10 laps in, still no DNFs, crazy stuff. From the order, we have Danny leading the pack on the softs, although I do think he's going to be coming in shortly as he wants to get new fresh tyres on. He's going to stay out for another lap. Drake's quite closely behind him now with DRS, going to open up that letterbox. ERS, the whole bunch, ERS, DRS, PRS, GRS, GRS, I don't know what I'm saying, but he's going to try and deploy it if he has it. Unable to make the move on Danny, because what you've got to remember is although now these tyres are kicking in and starting to make an effect on Drake's pace, the longer Danny keeps him behind, the better for Danny, because Drake's is going to come out on those softer tyres, but they will wear out quicker, and then Danny will ultimately have the pace boost as well. So these soft tyres could essentially get negated as we have our first DNF of the session. Zero Scott, what has happened? Zero Scott, he's put it in the wall. Oh no, he's gone right down into the bottom there. He's put it into the wall. I'm not quite sure what's happened there. We missed that. The man who qualified second has just retired from the session. Just as I was saying, we didn't have a single DNF. Scott's binned it. Scott's put it in the wall. Oh no. Absolute disaster as young Hayden just about manages to keep a spinala there. Going to go put himself in the pits there. Oh no, what a shame for Scott. Qualified second earlier on, got a 3-second penalty. Oh, here comes Danny now. Danny is going to come into the pits now. Here's Drake's now, going to try and make the charge on those mediums. Danny going to come in, yes, on the mediums. We'll probably take him to the end. It's a tall order, but I think he'll be able to get it done. Yeah, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Wow. Zero Scott out of the race. One of the last people I would expect to have not finished this race. What a shame for the Alpine driver there. This is just even more points for Mercedes over Alpine in the championship. What a shame indeed. Drake's now up into first. Going to just try, no traffic now, try and get away as much as possible as we now have our second retirement. Oh, here we go. They're starting to drop like flies. One person does it and now everybody follows a foot. Everybody fancies it. Everybody wants to do it. crazy stuff. Yellow flag in sector 1 and 2. I am certain there would be a safety car by now had we had it on, as we've got Alfie, our sweetheart, our darling, up into 7th, trying to bounce back after last week's disaster. The man who had finished in the points, 2 top 5 finishes every race. Points finishes every single race with 2 top 5 finishes. He'd have really wanted to keep that streak going last week, but he's going to try and bounce back, as you know, his teammate, as we were talking about the Haas car, his teammate Ghost has a 3-second time penalty for probably corner cutting. I don't think it'd be extending track limits, as there's no way you can extend track limits around here. Well, I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong somewhere there, but oh well, I don't care. As Delirious now picking up a time penalty, everybody's following suit. We've got DNFs and penalties flying out the books now. It's everywhere. Nico into 4th on those hards, going to go all the way to the end. He ultimately wants to be getting in front of Grimes here. I think they're both going to be going to the end on the hards now, as Drake's still has yet to pit. Danny 16 seconds behind. Is the hards the play? Don't come in. Is the hards the play here? You know, it's not really a circuit where you can gain that much time. But, you know, we will see. We will see. Currently in 2nd is Danny. Oh, we have a bit of a team radio from the Alfa Romeo here. It was the 2 Alfa Aston Martins getting into it in 17th and 18th. Penalties galore here. I'm a bit scared of them going side by side. This is some clean racing there. Unfortunately, yeah, a bit of team radio from the Alfa Romeo. Their wheel disconnected, so a bit of a technical fault there for young Hayden. Unfortunately, here the first race of his does end in despair, as Danny setting a fastest lap in 11.9. In 2nd, we still have yellow flags in sector 2 and 3. Not quite sure where or why, but nonetheless they are there. We do have them. It's tough titties, and that's that. Kind of early on, looking at this grid, you know, as we're approaching the halfway mark now. There's not really a crazy amount of surprises. You know, we've still got Alfie up in 5th. You know, Jack coming in 6th, Bames in 7th. You know, the 2 Ferraris in the top 10. That's where they normally are. Jason Davies picking up a penalty. Unfortunate for him. You know, he qualified on 6th. That was very, very good qualifying for him. Yeah, Andy Gatehouse in 11th. Ghost in 12th. Needs to be, making a few positions here, man. He hasn't. Oh, as I say that, he is battling with Andy Gatehouse right there. Very good move as we go through Mirabel into the hairpin. Not quite sure what happened to Ghost earlier, and I think there was a little bit of contact. I cannot quite remember. But yeah. It appears a lot of the grid are doing the one-stop, going to go on the hards all the way to the end. Whether these people on the mediums also do a one-stop, I am clueless. I really am. Sanders has left the session, not quite sure why. So has Scott. Scott's DNF, so that's understandable. Sanders left as well, really no clue as to why. But anyway, there's a yellow flag in sector 3. There's someone going a little bit slow just in front there. That's a Jason Davies going a little bit slow. Just in front of Ghost. As I was saying before, Ghost is yet to have a points finish. But he is going to very much enjoy this. Jason Davies just being in front of him with some potential wing damage. I'm not too sure what that yellow flag was. It could have been about Jason, but we'll see later on. As there are multiple yellow flags, people changing positions galore. Andy Gatehouse dropping into the pits now for his final pit stop, I'd imagine. Yeah, let's have a little look at Jason. Does he have some wing damage there? I'm not quite sure. He's on the hards going to the end. I don't think so. If there is, it'd be a very little slight chip. Nothing crazy, but yeah, Ghost right behind him now. He's on the hunt. He wants his first points finish of the season. Very unlucky. Very, very unlucky. Missed out last week as well, as he wasn't available to race due to the biblical 19 pandemic. And Jason unable to hit the apex there correctly. This Ghost has to slam on the brakes as much as possible right behind Jason. He wants to clear him now because he knows he's faster, and he's just holding him up. Oh, Ghost nearly losing at the back end of it. Oh, very, very clean there, being able to stop himself from fishtailing. We don't want to see any more Spinalas, especially at Monaco, because there will be debris going flying. Oh, as Jason puts it into the wall, Ghosts, and that is an easy way for Ghost to go through the Ghost of Jason Davies. And that's now Ghost up into the points, chasing down the 2 Ferraris now. We've got JD in 8th. Exact same position as to where he started. Oh no, he's up 3 now. For some reason, I just can't look properly. Chasing down Bames, Jack. Alfie in 5th. Amazing race from him so far. Amazing recovery drive. Into 13th. Started 13th, now up to 5th. Nico in 4th. Grimes in 3rd. Danny in 2nd. Drake's still on these tyres. He's going to have to go the long way if he wants to be able to finish on softs. He's going to have to go a lot longer than this. As Danny has dropped that gap significantly. It has been going down a crazy amount. It was initially 17 seconds. It's now 11.5. So I think it is a case of those tyres for Drake's are finally beginning to ease up on him. I say ease up, harden up on him if anything. Yeah, as we're approaching the halfway mark of the race now. Sanders, they're getting lapped by Danny. Unfortunate first race for himself, but oh well, there's only so much you can do. You know, not every race is for every single person. As we have a yellow flag in Sector 2, not quite sure why. Still amazed, on lap 17 we have 18 race finishers. Double yellow flags now. Well, what a start, to be honest. That's the thing with Monaco. The only problem is, you know, once it kind of eases out, you know, the first few laps get done, everybody builds up their gaps. That's kind of it. That's just Monaco, really. You know, there could be like some spanners thrown in the works here and there, or incidences which can bring out safety cars. But you know, it's kind of, especially with us not running a safety car, it really breaks up the plane. You know, everybody just, you know, does their own thing. It's like they're out there just testing their cars. You know, they're at winter testing right now. Apart from maybe some pit stop strategies, but other than that, I don't really see anything else getting in the way of, you know, the race results. They do normally stay quite naturally the same, apart from the odd couple of people, as you see Alfie and Bames there, you know, both up 8 and 10 places respectively. But yeah, it's been going well so far. You know, very tame for a start. Only got 5 penalties, which is quite a surprise. Delirious, Ghost, Joel, Jake and Jason all picking up penalties so far. Do excuse me, I had to take a swig of my drink because I have not shut up talking for the past 30 minutes. I don't know how commentators can do this. Commentators do this for like 3 hours straight without a break. I don't know how they do it. It's mental. These yellow flags galore everywhere. Left, right and centre. Goes with another penalty. This is unfortunate. It's going from bad to worse for him. He's up to 6 seconds worth of penalties now. Oh, and Ghost is retired from the session. How unfortunate. It goes from bad to worse for Ghost. A man who has yet to score any points. Any points. Has retired yet again. Some bit of a team radio here. He's very disgruntled with Delirious. I think there may have been an issue with Delirious. We'll have to look at it after the race in the steward submissions. If you guys aren't involved, I do have a Discord as he is there. As you can see Ghost just kind of in the middle of the track there. Yeah, we have a steward submissions in one of my Discord servers where, you know, people can put up clips, you know, and I'll analyse them after the race, see if there's any penalties that should be given as a result of things that weren't actually picked up during the race. We have Ghost saying Delirious just pushed me across the chicane and then put me in the barrier. Very unfortunate. We will have to look at that after the race. I was unable to see it or catch it live. Some of the action, you know, I can't catch every single bit of action. I can only, you know, stay on board with one person at a time, as that's just the way it happens, unfortunately. If I could have 20 cameras for all 20 drivers, I would do that for you guys, but unfortunately that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Drake's in first, still on those mediums. Gonna have to go maybe, I'd say, like another 5 laps on them before he goes and pits for some softs. Close to lapping Camdog. Nearly half of the grid has been lapped already. as we got JD and Jack getting into it. Oh, Jack hitting the wall there, and Delirious going to go through, sweep through both of them. Is there a little bit of contact between the two of them? Not quite sure here, as we've dropped to 12 FPS. No, we've still got front wings there. Delirious up into 6th, but I'm not so sure if he will finish there. After what was being said by Ghost. Fortunately, I think fingers crossed. It's nothing too serious. As Buzz picks up a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. Not quite sure why. I think he's just gone straight across the Nouvelle chicane. And he's lost his front wing, and he's DNF'd himself. That's very frustrating. But, oh well. GG to Buzz. Bye-bye, Buzz. So far on the grid, it's Danny in second, trying to chase down Drake's. Now the gap only 7.8 seconds. Grimes in third on those hards, going to the very end with Nico behind him in fourth. Bames in fifth. Good start from him. Earlier on. Up 11 positions, very good so far. Delirious in sixth. Jack seventh. The other Ferrari of JD in 8th, King Joel in 9th, and Alfie is rounding out the top 10. Still going to be on for a points finish, or point finish, by the way it's going right now. I'm fingers crossed he does. Oh, a little bit of a corner cut there. Behave, mate. You don't want to get yourself any penalties, do you now? I think he'd have picked up a warning there, if I'm being honest. Cam in 11th. Jason 12th, Andy 13th with his Red Bull teammate just behind him in 14th. Sanders 15th, and then Jake the other. Aston Martin is 16th. JD picked up a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. Oh dear! We've got a spinala from Jake Pig. Lost some of his front wing. He's going to be going into the pits there. Put on a set of mediums if I were you. Oh no, he's going to stay out. King Joel with a 3-second time penalty as well. It would appear only one harsh driver is going to collect points each week, and I think it's going to be Alfie, as I don't think I'm ever going to see Ghost finish in the points ever. If he does, it will be pandemonium for him. He will be celebrating like no tomorrow, like he's won the lottery. Yeah, still Danny in second, Cam a lap down in 12th there, ghosted. Danny 6.5 behind Drake's. Drake's still staying out on those tyres, as we have a Jason Davies ghosting, facing the wrong way around. This is becoming some crazy stuff. The top 10 now are going to start being lapped by some of the race leaders now. This is crazy. This is definitely a Drake's Danny race. We will see who will win this race at the end. Personally, I think Drake's has done an amazing job on these mediums, but depending on how well Danny looked after his tyres, he has dropped that gap by 10 seconds. Depending on how well Drake's does on those softs, and how well Danny managed to look after his set of mediums at this time, because he's going to go to the end on that. There's no way he doesn't. Unless maybe Danny comes in for another set of softs when Drake's comes in as well, if he feels like he could match his pace a little bit. But he'd need to close that gap even more, so it's only like 1 second or 2 seconds. As Alfie's picked up a 3-second penalty. That is not what Alfie wants. That is definitely not what Alfie wants. We've got a couple more pit stops here between Bames and JD. Bames was in 5th, now dropped to 8th, unfortunately for him. Drake's still out. Danny in 2nd. Either way, I do think it's going to be a 1-2 for Drake's and Danny. Grimes and Nico are just, they're on the hards. They're a bit too far away. Yeah, I think that the one stop was the correct move, but I think the move was to just be on the mediums and the softs and just grind it out and look after the tyres, instead of being safe and being on the hards until the end. Now it's unfortunate for those two, but unless anything else randomly happens, I don't think there's going to be much of a change there, as Danny has gained nearly a whole second this lap alone. Bames picking up a 3-second time penalty. Everybody's picked up penalties today. I think there's like 1 or 2 people who have not picked up penalties throughout this entire season. And honestly, I think it's Drake's and Danny. the two main title protagonists. Drake's overtaking Obalth as he laps him. Is he going to come into the pits this lap? When is he coming in? When is he coming in? When does he do this? Because what he's got to remember is, although he is still ahead of Danny, that's a 20-second pit stop. It's a 20-second pit stop. And Danny's only 5 seconds behind him with 14 laps to go. Now, is Drake's going to be a second faster a lap? On these tyres when he comes in. Is he? Is Danny's tyres, what percentage are Danny's tyres on? Are they going to blow up? Is he going to be able to, pull something out the bag? Who knows? Still a 134 Mercedes, so yet again they're going to pull away. Jason Davies, 3-second penalty. They're going to pull away even more. Danny is trying his hardest to, close in on the constructors for Alpine, but he got a very good teammate, a permanent teammate with Scott back into the fray. Unfortunately, Scott just wasn't able to get it going. We've only had 4 DNFs so far this race, and I'm amazed by that. But here's the order as we approach the end of lap 25. Drake still staying out. You just got to think it's more and more laps that he's going to have to cover this ground. But anyway, on the start of lap 26, it is Ace Drake's in first, Danny in second, closing him down. As you can see him up in front, I think, or is that just a ghosted laps car? Anyway, Al Grimes in third, Nico in fourth, Delirious in fifth, although he is pending investigation for after the race, as there was a very unhappy Haas ghost who thinks he may have caused his DNF, but we will look at that after the race. But for now, he is currently riding in P5. It's a 6-7 for Williams. Very nice. Jack and King Joel respectively in 6th and 7th. Alfie in 8th, Obalth Racing. We love to see it from him. We love it. We do love it. The nation's sweetheart, the darling, as we like to call him, in 8th. About to be lapped by Danny. Bames in 9th. Jason, the final points paying position right now. Ooh, a little bit of a corner cut there. In 10th there. JD in 11th. Cam in 12th. Yellow flag in sector 3. The Red Bull partnership of Andy Gatehouse and Bidu Frock 13th and 14th. Sanders in 15th. And then Jake Pig kissing the swimming pool wall. Without a front wing, I imagine. Yeah, looks it. How unfortunate. But now the gap is only 3.5. These tyres are really starting to die out for Drake's now. When's he going to come in? Danny's got to do 12 laps on these mediums. I think they'll land on a very low percentage. Or is Danny just going to try and get close to Drake's and then maybe make the this is where you think now, he could go ahead, he could go in front. Keep his race lead and then monitor the tyres all the way to the end. I don't quite know how damaged they are. Or does he try and keep catching down with whatever grip he's got left, try and get even closer? That's Drake's just up there ahead. Does he try and get as close as possible and then do they both come in and race to the end? What's Danny thinking now? Does he stay out and monitor the tyres all the way to the end with a longer gap? But Drake's will be on much faster tyres. I'm talking very fast tyres. 2.4 the gap now. 2.3 the gap now. Drake's has come in. Danny's staying out. Danny is staying out. So Danny will retake the lead of this race going into the 28th lap of the Monaco Grand Prix with 12 laps left to go. Drake's personally doesn't want to be in traffic. I don't think he's going to be in traffic. But now, what happens? Drake's on the soft tyres. His teammate coming up right near him. Who's going to come out just in front? Grimes is going to come out in front of Drake's. That is not what he wants. Oh, no, he isn't. He's just going to come out just behind him. That was perfect for Drake's there. If Drake's was right behind Grimes, that could not have been good. Although, hopefully, with a little bit of team orders, they would have swapped positions. Drake's now, with 12 laps, has to cover 22 seconds. As Jake Pig has been disqualified from the session for facing the wrong way. Great. That is just what you want to see. Still 12 laps left to go. 15 finishers. Danny in first. Drake's on very much faster tyres. Look at it, he's already gained a second on this lap already. What does Danny do? Danny is going to stay out. I think Danny is going to go to the end on this. 21 seconds the gap. We will monitor that the entire way. For right now, Danny is safe. He just needs to do his own thing, mind his business. But currently, it's a... Oh dear, there's a little bit of a mistake there from Drake. You know, these are pivotal moments for Danny. You know, the more mistakes that Drake makes, the better for Danny, because, you know, that's more time that Drake would have had to have spent trying to you know, catch him now. The gap down to 20.6. This is crazy. Still Grimes in third. You know, Drake's is long gone. Drake's is the very much the fastest man on the grid right now. Nico in fourth, still trying to chase down Grimes, but I don't think they're gonna. I think they're just too similar pace. Delirious in fifth for now. Jack in sixth. Bame seventh. Alfie eighth. Jason ninth. JD 10th. As they're all getting into it, they're battling for eighth between themselves, but they all have penalties. King Joel in 11th. Not quite sure what happened to him. He was in 7th earlier on, as he's just picked up a 3-second time penalty. That is not what he wants. Bidoof and Andy Gatehouse 12th and 13th. Cam in 14th. Not quite sure why. He was a little bit higher up than before. And then Sanders, you know, ghosted last in 15th, down by 2 laps. The gap is now 19 seconds, or 18.9. This is going to come right down to the wire. I fear, you know, what you've got to think is these tyres are going to be fast all the way to the end. You know, as you know, Ace Drake's now going fastest lap of the race. But has he done it? Did he do it too late? Did he leave it too late to go on these tyres? Was he being too conservative? Because what you then got to remember is he's got to try and overtake him as well. I think by the 37th lap, he'll have caught up to him, I reckon, with that gap, the rate the gap's going down. You know, there's no one in his way. Everybody's ghosted. Is there going to be another twist in this race? The gap now 18 seconds. JD picking up another penalty. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Crazy. 17.6 now the gap. I feel like just commentating on Jake's POV for the rest of the race, but I want to get everybody else involved. I want to see what everybody else is doing, but they're all just having their own races. Like, look, everybody's just, you know, doing their own race. You know, okay. Yeah, like they're all spread out a little bit now. Okay, you've got JD and both close to one another, with King John not that far behind either. But, you know, people in the pits, Jason's in the pits, you know, Bidoof, you know, everybody's just doing their own thing. So this is honestly the only real bit of racing we want to see. There's no way Danny comes in now. He throws away the race lead if he does. If anything, he'll probably throw away second place as well. Or, well, he might not throw away second, but still he throws away this race lead. Gap now on the 31st lap, going in halfway through the middle sector, is 16.7. Danny coming down to the Nouveau chicane. Oh, little bit of a corner cut there, Danny. Naughty, naughty. Through to back. Swimming pool sector. I love this left right there. If you get it perfect, it's so rewarding. So flowing, it's lovely. Yellow flag, sector 3, not quite sure why. JD with another penalty. It's penalties galore. 16.2 the gap. Crazy racing, honestly. It's a shame with Monaco because, you know, the people are like nervous to overtake. You know, we saw a couple of overtakes earlier on when everybody was bunched up, but everybody's just scared to make that initial overtake, which is so annoying, so frustrating. .1 the gap now. It's coming down. It's not as fast as Drake's would have liked. I think, you know, there was 12 laps left when it was 21 seconds, and now with 16.3, you know, there's 8 laps left. So, you know, he's kind of gaining 4 seconds every 4 laps. You know, I mean, you know, Drake's tyres are still in his prime, whilst, you know, Danny's tyres, they are getting old. They are crying out to him. Very unfortunate for some of the races. Ghost, you know, qualified amazing, got a P5, loved it. Same with Scott, P2, you know, two very surprising lone finishes there. Well, maybe not so surprising about Ghost, but more unlucky for Ghost, you know, just can't catch a break. Danny now getting DRS, so that will help him out a little bit. Not by a crazy amount, but it will give him, you know, an extra 10th back. Yeah. Well, this is truly going to come down to the end. 7 laps left. All still to race for. Drake's has got to get 2 seconds a lap. I don't think he's going to do it. I think he might finish sort of 5-6 seconds behind him. I don't think he's going to manage it, guys. And I think Danny is going to come away with a race win. But, you know, anything could happen. The tyres could pop. The tyres could burst. He could lose it all in a moment's notice. It is truly what will be, will be. I had to just take another sip of water there. I've got the driest throat going. The gap underneath 15 seconds now. Drake's trying his hardest, but I just don't think... Grimes with a 3-second penalty. Nico, I like that, but I don't think he's close enough for it to make a difference. You know, Drake's now getting a little bit slower. That gap is coming down, you know, a little bit slower. I think Danny's... I think not only is Danny, you know, picked his time to pit and all that lot, but I think Drake's he went out too long on them tyres. Excuse me. Lap 34, Andy Gatehouse with a penalty. Danny's still in first, 14.7 the gap. Yellow flag in sector 2. He's just being extra careful now. That gap's not even changing anymore. King Joel, 3-second time penalty. Oh, hang on, just as I was saying this wasn't really going to matter, Nico's only 4 seconds behind Grimes now. Grimes has front wing damage, and Nico is behind him. With 4 laps to go, this could get tasty. This is the race we want to see. Nico now 3 seconds behind Grimes. There he is. Nico may squeeze a penalty, a podium out of this. Very nice indeed for Nico. Anyway, you know, it's a bit of a shame for Grimes if he doesn't manage to hold on to this. Excuse me, this podium. Unfortunately, that's what damage does to you. I'm going to stay on board with this for now. Now, what's Nico going to do? Is he going to try and make the overtake? No, is he going to do it in one of the easier spots? We will see. He's caught right up to the back end of Grimes. There's the gap between Jakes and Danny, 14 seconds. Let's have a look now. Let's stay on board with Nico as he tries to overtake Grimes. Is he going to try anything down into the Nouvelle chicane? No. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen. Thankfully, I think they're both okay. Bit of a racing incident there. Did Grimes lose any more of his front wing? No, he didn't. Nico up behind Grimes. Personally, I'd have just waited to the main straight, get the better exit, get the DRS, get past him and get it over and done with. Here we go. Or just stay behind him for the final 5 laps of the race. You know what I mean? He's got a 3-second penalty. Oh, never mind. He's going to try going up the hill. These guys are side by side. Jesus Christ. I saw that. I don't know what to fucking do. It's a racing instant, isn't it? It's a racing instant. What do you do? I knew it was going to fucking happen. Nico, why don't you just stay behind him, man? He's a fast driver. Just stay behind him. I won't be going full speed around here, mate. Has Grimes lost his front wing now? They've both lost the front wing. What are they going to do? Neither of them are pitting. Okay. Anyway. Coming down to the final 2 laps now. The gap is still 14.7. Drake's was unable to do anything. You know, I think Danny's going to take away this race lead as race win, as Grimes is now just in front of Nico. But Nico needs to remember 3 seconds. Stay within 3 seconds of Grimes, and you get your podium. It's going to be tight. Oh dear, you don't want to be hitting the wall there. As yeah, Drake's now starting to overtake everybody else. Danny's starting his penultimate lap of this race. 14 finishes at the moment. Well, 13 if you don't count the ghosted Sanders. Everybody lapped all the way up to 4th. I think there was just a DNF just there. Grimes and Nico very close to one another. I'd have pitted. Honestly, I would have. Look how much slower they are. I would have pitted. I would have honestly pitted. I would have. I think one of them's going to DNF at this point. They're hitting the wall so much. Anyway. Danny now coming down to Nouvelle Chicane. He's not that far behind him. I'm going to call it down to a racing instant, honestly. Danny now on his approach to the final lap of the race. 13.3 the gap. Drake's managed to close it down by about 8 seconds, but was unable to do anything else. Yeah, I think this is, if anything, this is just a victory lap. I want to see what percentage those tyres are on. I really do. If I could, I'd probably guess, you know, low 70s. Those tyres are going to be hurting. They're going to be crying out for some help. Drake's in second. Nico in third. Overtook Grimes. 3-second penalty there for Grimes. Is he going to try something here going into the Nouvelle Chicane? He is. He's going to go for something. I mean, it's just a bit, you know what I mean? That's one apiece now. That's one apiece of them both trying to dive down the inside. Anyway, Danny now approaching the Nouvelle Chicane as well. 1.1 minute and 3 seconds is how far behind 4th place is. That's how crazily fast front 2 were going. I mean, they don't have front wings, but still. Danny in first, coming up to La Rascasse. He's going to come around the final couple of corners now. He pitted early. He took the mediums all the way to the end. He played the strategy to perfection. It's another race win for Danny. He takes the checkered flag at the Monaco Grand Prix. Ace Drake's now in second. You know, valiant effort with the soft tyres. Was unable to get them fired up quick enough to overtake Danny. Will regain that lead. Comes home to finish in second. Very nice indeed. It's still some good points there with the fastest lap as well, I believe. We're on board with Grimes and Nico in third and fourth, respectively. Neither of them have front wings. What has happened to Nico here? He has fallen off a little bit from Grimes. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. You know, there is still a podium to play for here, as Grimes is in third, but he has a 3-second time penalty. It's 3 seconds right now. Ooh, Nico hitting the wall there. Everybody's changing positions last second due to all the penalties. Who's going to come third? Who is going to finish third in this race? We don't know. It is about a 3-second gap. Who's it going to go to? I think it's going to go to Nico. No! Nico finishes 4th. Grimes finishes 3rd. What an ending there. What an ending. Everybody else finished. You know, the last two races. We have some very unhappy people. But we're going to say. Anyway. Here is the final classifications. Danny finishing 1st. Yet again, another race win for Danny. Drake's in 2nd. Grimes in 3rd. Nico 4th. We'll look at that a little bit later on. Delirious in 5th. Jack in 6th. Nice return race for him there. Bames in 7th. JD in 8th. Bidoof 9th. King Joel takes the last position. No! Alfie finishes in 11th. But we will see. Alfie finishing in 11th. Cam Dog in 12th. Andy in 13th. Sanders in 14th. And then everybody else just non-race finishers. Very unfortunate there. Very unfortunate. How unfortunate for them. Anyway, that has been Monaco for the LBL. Thank you all so much for watching. We will be back next week with, is it Baku? I think we go to Baku. But either way, it's been biblical. Thank you all so much for watching once again. Peace!